Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to the TV Terminal. My name is Adam Bale, senior editor over at thecoalition.com.
My name is Lawrence, aka a punk with toys on all the social medias, and damn, do we have a hell of a show here.
Ooh, what a show, people. This, if you guys watched it over on Paramount Plus, then you know. And if you haven't watched this, I recommend at least pausing this, come back, because we got stuff to say. And I'm sure people will say it in the comments.
I would love that people want to just watch us to hear what the show is about. I love the fact that people are watching, but if you're not watching the show, you are doing yourself a disservice because this episode is intense in so many ways. I think the whole time I'm like, I don't want.
Yeah.
I almost don't want to know what's going to happen next because I'm worried what we're going to see. But I'm almost
it's
like
fast cuts.
Yeah, I almost want to be like, let's just watch the next two episodes.
That's right. Let's just do it.
We only have one though right now, so.
Oh boy. All right. But we're not jumping ahead, people.
No,
we're not doing that. That's it. And we're not. The main reason why we also don't want it to get clouded with our coverage, because that could easily happen. People start watching things and start spewing things like, hey, that didn't happen. But anyway, real quick housekeeping. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. We got a bunch of new follows, new subs on all these platforms, especially here on YouTube. Comments. People are jumping in. You're watching. We're discussing. That's what this is about, right? We're covering these shows. We want to interact with the people that also like to watch these shows, and it's happening. This is all new. So thank you again. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep commenting, following, subscribing, doing all that jazz. Everybody knows this is it. This is good. It's fun. And man, this was an episode. Yeah, so real quick, I just want to say, because I know I don't want to forget, this is MobLand season 1, episode 7, The Crossroads. Go ahead.
Yes, The Crossroads. What the hell was I going to say?
No. Wait, what are you gonna say?
I don't remember now.
What's it about Antwerp? Yeah, shout out to Christine over on Spotify. She left a comment. She was like, "Are you guys for real? You're joking? You don't know about Antwerp?" And her whole thing is, we looked it up. Lawrence looked it up. He found out, oh, Belgium, okay. But our issue was the timing, because it's something that we call like the Reacher effect, because some things happen on Reacher that made no sense regarding timing. Yes. And we weren't sure if that's what's happening here. But then, a helicopter ride from London to Antwerp is under an hour. Okay. Because it's just the way he just showed up at the hotel. It's like, oh, I'm here to save the day.
Yeah. So,
Harry.
Again, I don't know where she is from, but like we knew when watching Reacher to fly from where he was on the East Coast to California, you're looking at a 5 or 6 hour flight and then to fly back, right? Where if it was, let's say, to Detroit, where I live, it's a couple hour flight. You could be there and back. We don't know, and we know a lot of these European countries they're just kind of
really close. Together. Yeah. You could take a train ride to Amsterdam, Germany, all that stuff.
Yeah. So we don't know all this, and understand, we've said this before. This is what I was going to say. We just finished watching it. We haven't done research on it. We'll look up specific certain little things. So please, in the comments, tell us if we miss something or educate us on certain things, because that's what we're here for, to just talk to you guys about this. Basically, for us to talk about how amazing the show is.
Yeah, it's a great show. We knew this was going to be a good show. Once we saw it, we was like, all right, what's the first show we're going to cover on this new channel? It's like, oh, it's MobLand. And, so here we are. We knew it, and I'm glad that we picked this one.
All right. Now,
all right.
I want to say, for the record, I believe the end of this season, because I do believe there will be a season 2. I don't see how you can't. I believe Conrad, Maeve, and the Stevensons will all be gone. I believe Kevin will be in charge when going into season 2. Now, just so you guys know, we haven't watched ahead.
No.
I'm just predicting. I also believe Eddie will be gone.
All right, we'll bring that up right at the end of this episode. We'll bring up our thoughts of how we think this is going to pan out, because this show, as you mentioned, There's a few more episodes left. This is 7. There's 10 episodes, and we're already still getting introduced to new characters. Kat
Yes.
appeared. Her name was dropped before with Donnie when he popped up
Oh.
at the garage, but that's a whole thing. But let's just start off right at the beginning.
Well, we got to answer some other questions that we had.
Oh yeah, go for
We
it.
want to talk about some of them.
Yeah.
So we did have this cyber kooky who said, "I love how they gave the people in Antwerp a French accent. Excellent research job." Now that's something that we were looking, and again, I think we both were like, "Well, is this really the Antwerp that we had looked up?"
Yeah, that's why I didn't link it, because I'm like, well, it's in Belgium, and I could have swore no.
And I didn't catch the French accent so much because I'm so busy writing stuff that we watched this one time. So we miss a lot of nice, easy details. It seems weird you're writing stuff down, but there's like the details like that. That just shows you how wonderful a show is produced, the research they put into it, which is really what is making the show so damn good. And then we have this, everything is awesome. Do you want to read this one?
Everything.
Yeah.
Oh, Bill. Well, I mean, that was kind of wild. The gist of it, and this is what we want to bring up, is this person has the theory that maybe Eddie is Harry's child.
Yeah.
And that's like, wow. That's really going out there because of all the stuff going on. And my thing, and then also yours, and I think a few others, is that we all pretty much are on the same page that Kevin is not the biological father, that it has to be someone else. And we're thinking Conrad, right? Conrad is when this would make sense why he's so, for Eddie, this is why he's so protective. This is also why Maeve has really pulled him in. And I know you brought up, well, she didn't pull in Serafina, but it sounds like that was something else. That was the mom you didn't get along with. It was really cheating, as opposed to this situation. As we learned a few episodes back, that Conrad had a bunch of what was it, birds that they were calling it, side girls, and then Maeve was cool with this. She understood this is what happens, but Bella was one of them, and she worked her way up to be like number one, and that's when Maeve got involved. And maybe this is why she worked her way up to number one, because she was pregnant. She's pregnant, and then told Maeve, what do we do? Well, this is still bloodline. This is in the family. How can we keep this close? I got an idea. Let me introduce her to my son here, who's also looking for someone or whatever. And then poof, he falls in love with her. He knows that this is his dad's mistress or what have you, and he's cool with it. He says it. He told Harry, remember? He's like, I know, but I loved her. I loved her. And there you go. Now, maybe he does know that this is not his kid and that this is his father's kid. Maybe not. We don't know. I'm sure we'll get there at some point, but that's the gist of that theory. Anyone else under that impression that Eddie is Harry's love child?
That's my thing. And now the one thing that everything is awesome did say is that he believes that, or he thinks that it's possible Harry might be Conrad's son. I don't think that's it, because Conrad was kind of grooming Harry's daughter. Now, again,
that was creepy.
He doesn't come off as incest.
Yeah, we get it. It's
he doesn't come off like that. So I'm kind of eliminating that. But again, it doesn't mean that it couldn't be. Especially considering you saw how mad Jan did get, but I don't think so. So
I'm still under the idea that Jan was one of those birds with Conrad. I have a feeling he has dabbled with all the ladies on this show, excluding Alice. Well, maybe not. Who knows? You think she's a CI? I still think she's works for the DA, the police department. We don't really know her role. We just know that she's undercover.
Yep. And then we have Timmy Higgins, but we're going to address this. And I just want to say, we're going to address this at the end because we've already watched it. And some of the things that he addresses may come true. So I don't want to, let's talk about that when we get to that. So anyway, let's get into this episode, because it was a 40-minute episode. I think we could talk for 140 minutes on this.
Oh, yeah.
It was intense.
It was intense. It's fast paced. That's the other thing with this show. It doesn't drag. There's not long dialogue.
Not at all.
It's as if they're watching it and there's like, wait, a minute and a half. All right, cut. New scene. And then we're getting sprinkles from different locations. Tum, 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 tum. And it's always keeping you engaged and alert. And you're like, okay, what's happening here?
Um, it was mentioned last episode. I don't feel like there's anything that drags on. I don't feel like there's filler. Everything is there for a reason, and everything is there for a reason, and the timing is perfect.
Yeah.
This has been
Except one scene, remember? The Jan scene, which we'll get into.
Okay. For the most part, this has been a perfect TV show for 8 episodes or 7 episodes.
Yeah. A really good crime drama.
Yeah.
Really living up to it.
So we get Harry making it to the warehouse where he finds everyone dead. No Serafina or Brendan, and in blood is written in big capital letters, war. So we got Harry.
Sees war, gives Conrad a call.
Yep.
And this was a surprise here because we were all like, oh, well, this has to be the Mexicans, right? No, it turns out there's the Moroccans. And Conrad's like, how do you know? He says, well, I saw the tattoo. I'm familiar with that gang. So it's Moroccans that were here. So that's a big twist there. Well, I don't know if the Moroccans I don't know if they ever came up. I know at the beginning there was those 2 rival gangs, but I don't think they were connected in this way. But hey, there you go. This is what I'm saying. Here to episode 7, and now we're getting another group. And as we meet their leader later on, which is is he? No, actually, he's the cartel leader. I don't think we ever meet the Moroccans leader. Right, because Jaime, he was the Jaime Lopez is the cartel, the Mexican.
Yes, Jamie.
Lord. Yep,
Jamie. Right? So if you're looking at IMDb, like who the hell is Jamie? It's Jaime.
Yep. All right, so then at this point, of course, Conrad's like, bring them home, and then Maeve, I just wrote fake cry. I did not think any of that was Jamie. She said, oh man, I can't believe it, and then she leaves the room, and who does she call? She calls Richie, and she's like, we had a deal, and he's like, I didn't make any deal. What are you talking about? And that's what I said. He never agreed to any of her terms. She just spoke the whole time about her demands and what she wants.
Absolutely correct. She said, this is what I want, and he never said, okay. There's never agreement. You just killed his son and wife. Yeah. Do you really think he's going to agree to anything? I mean, I can't even blame. I can't blame Richie at this point, right?
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. This was his family, as far as we know, right? He doesn't have other children or anything else. He wasn't. We don't see other family members, is what I'm thinking.
He wasn't the one looking for a war.
No,
you know. So
we're not giving him a pass. I'm sure he's still a bad guy. This is MobLand, but he was not the instigator in this situation here. Yeah, the first episodes we find out. Yeah,
and Maeve clearly only cares about Brendan. Like this, all she cares about. She actually seems upset and mad that they didn't whack Serafina. Yeah, I don't know why she wants her out of it so bad, but
I think she does. She wants her out of the way because she knows that Conrad has feelings for her and sees her as one of the family members' kids, as a child, as the family. She doesn't see it that way though, because of whatever reason. Because as we said, we still think that Eddie is sort of the same type of deal, out of wedlock type of thing. Yeah. But it doesn't seem to be phasing her about that. It's something going on, and maybe we'll get more backstory on that. Maybe Maeve and Serafina's mom were friends or something. Maybe there was a connection there. Maybe it's not all about, that was just a stripper that you messed with.
So this is interesting, and I was actually just thinking about this as I look at it. So we see Paul walk in, and he sees Eddie, and he basically says the kids are kidnapped, and Eddie, the douchebag that he is, and I'm sorry if I'm saying anything that's offensive. He asked, "Is that good or bad news?" And you can see on Paul's face, like he's just so throughout the season so far, we have seen that Maeve seems to be trying to get Harry out, and to me, it looks like Paul is her number one. Paul does anything that Maeve wants.
Yeah,
he's like next in line after Harry. I think Paul's not going to make it out either.
and that's the thing. I think Maeve, there's something, and that's jumping ahead, but it's only because it sort of connects now. When Richie was on the phone during the video call, and he starts talking about Maeve, and he was like, "I used to respect her. You used to have power.
Yeah.
Power. What is that? What power? What? Maybe she was a boss or a second in command of the Harrigan family. Maybe she was one of the people out there setting things in motion. She wasn't just standing back with Conrad, and that could be a part of it, and why Paul is playing the part that he is, which is siding with Maeve because he's keeping
Yeah.
secrets from Conrad. This is
Oh, big
all the stuff
time.
that he's doing. Yeah.
Big time. Okay, so then
Yeah,
we get Kevin and Conrad, and Maeve's in the room also, talking about who knew where they were going, because
I
obviously they
wrote
were
this off
ambushed.
as everyone.
Yeah. There's a lot of people. All
Everyone.
right,
Yeah.
there are an absolute lot of people.
Everybody.
That again, this goes back to when my daughter and I are watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and we start going over, like, no one knows that she's a Slayer, and then Olivia and I are like, well, so and so knows, and like the whole town knows. It seems like
Yo.
everyone knows, but Maeve is still once again saying, Harry.
She keeps well, Harry knows everything because he's the fixer. Of course
Yeah.
he knows. And they were telling him. And remember, he walked into a room and they said, "Oh, they're over there headed to Antwerp to do a deal, and she likes to go to the hotel out there." And they gave the address, so of course he knows.
Yeah, so he has to know everything. But again, we all know Harry is not on. He's not.
Mhm.
He's not a rat, which we find out about rats later on.
Oh boy, I don't know about that story. I call shenanigans on it.
Yeah.
Some stuff there.
So we get.
This is
Go on.
Oh, I was just going to say, we see a scene here that no father wants to see. No father, especially Harry, to see his daughter now hanging out with Eddie, the killer, the horrible. Oh man, that's a fear. We both have daughters. That is a fear, that there's a guy that we don't like, or a neighborhood kid that we don't like. You're like, oh, as long as my daughter doesn't get with that guy, and then one day you come home and you see them, you're like, whoa. If Harry was there, I think he probably would have killed Eddie, and the show would be over, because he would just kill him and take Jan. And he's like, whatever, Lord. Conrad runs out. What did you know what? I'm done playing this game. Poop, poop. 2 for you too. That's it. And Maeve, what did you do? You 1 more for you. Boop. That's it. Paul, you want some? No, I'm good. Okay, good. Let's go. I'm out. I'm not dealing with this. But yeah, that was.
So then we get Alice giving our friend Jan a call. Now she knows where. Well, I believe she knows where she's at.
Well, she sort of knows, but I think, yeah, you're right. I don't know if she knows. We know she knew where she was in regards to the funeral, because remember, it's like, I have to go somewhere. Oh, you're going to the funeral. But I think here, yeah, maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. But yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, she calls Jan and basically trying to get her to come out. Hey, can I come there? Where are you guys at? And she does tell her where. I don't think she tells her yet, but she says, "No, I can come see you." She's like, "Okay, well, meet me at this place." And then we see Alice stop and talk to the detectives, and so this is where we have the continuity issue, or we're about to.
Yeah.
Basically says, where they're gonna meet, and I just
because we don't know. All right, so we don't know where this compound is. We know it's out in the countryside. That much we do know, because just from the scenery and the drive, they always say they're further out. Later on, Paul.
She does not swim there. I will say that.
Yeah, she doesn't. She's not reaching. Oh, thank God. If she would have walked out of the base, started wiping her foot, I would have turned this off.
I don't know. She would have, if she would have done what Richard did and got down into her bra and panties, maybe.
Or wait a minute. Or wait. No, this brings back another point. Did she drive there?
I don't know.
Walk.
I don't know. We're actually kind of jumping ahead because the lawyer does come in though.
Yeah. But I think we just got into it because this
was. We are.
Yeah, we were kind of.
That's what I was saying. It didn't seem to make a lot of sense when she leaves, because they would have heard a car driving away,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So
Yeah, they would have heard something. And Paul even said he told one of the other guards called Paul and said, Jan's leaving.
yep.
And he was like, follow her. I was like, all right, well, is she leaving on foot or is she getting, we don't see her get into a car. And for some people, like, why are you dwelling on this? Because it's, we just want to know how far. And what did she tell her? Where are they going? That's,
This is a compound that's supposed to be locked down,
yeah.
and you let not a Navy SEAL get away or Reacher. You let Jan just get away. But then
Just
we have,
walk on. What if Conrad comes out and asks, where's Jan? I was like, oh, she left, she had to go. She didn't
she
tell
had
anybody.
had a dentist appointment.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's like, yeah, it doesn't matter the point that everyone's gathered here because, safety, life, gang war, all that stuff. She had to do something.
But we have the lawyer who shows up and she basically explains the situation to, Conrad,
Kevin,
Evan, and Maeve. Basically, this is a bad situation with Harry getting arrested. The cops obviously know that Brennan and Serafina are over in Antwerp. Is that right?
Yeah, Antwerp. Yeah.
And this is when they kind of start getting into it. And Maeve is really trying to press that Harry is a rat. And Conrad is not hearing any of it. Conrad is not hearing anything about him being a rat, which is good because I don't believe that he is. That would ruin the whole show.
Yeah. We've seen so many of these type of shows where the main protagonist is an undercover, and cover blown. So I don't think we're going down that road. I don't think we're gonna get a dun dun dun. I'm chief detective, blah blah blah.
Because at this point, we know exactly who's feeding a lot of it. Well, we already know who's feeding everything, but we already have either the CI or the police officer. And again, I think just by the look of this here, she's not a CI. You're right. I believe that she is some sort of detective or police officer. But we know that Maeve is the rat.
Yeah, we definitely know. And speaking of rat, was this also because I just wrote down in 1988? Was this when he gave that little story?
Yes.
He told that story.
Yeah,
All right,
so-
about like being in jail and there was a rat and he served his time. And when he got out, he found him and he cut off his tongue and then he fed him his eyes. He cut his eyes out and fed it to him. I'm like, okay, buddy. All right.
And then when that was done, he slit him. Which and this all had to do with it was a cellmate that he had. He ratted on him. He got he said he got a cell with a TV.
Yeah,
he got 6 weeks in solitaire, an extra year added on. And then when they were both out, he was shocked to see him. Well, I would be too.
Yeah.
And then we find out who Maria is. And if you guys don't remember, Maria is the person that Harry is trying to help.
Yeah, with the mom. Now we know. She's a housekeeper.
So, Bella goes and talks to Jan outside, and Jan gives her the phone number of Maria to give to Kevin because Kevin wanted it. Now, Bella doesn't know why. Because clearly this is something that the only two people that know about this guard from the past is Harry and Kevin. And we don't even know if Harry knows the full extent of what happened.
I'm starting to think that he doesn't know what happened. He recognizes the guy and he knows he was
a bad seed. But doesn't know what he did.
Because wait a minute. Wait, no. Wait. Because the first time that Harry does see Bugsby or whatever his name is, Bugsby, I think it's Bugsby. Anyway, when it's the first time he sees him at the old home, we do see a flashback.
We see a flashback of what's happening to Kevin.
Yeah, so he does know, but the thing is that why then bring that up to Kevin? Because he kept saying, "Oh, do you remember him? Oh, you don't? You really don't remember him? Why are you pushing it then?"
But see, that's what I'm wondering. Like, he knows something happened, but I don't know if he knows that he was actually graping him.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That maybe the guy gave him a hard time, but he spent a little extra time with Kevin, and Kevin never told him, and Harry doesn't know.
Kevin just says, "Yeah, he beat me" or whatever. And this was where, hey, if you want to get back, Now,
Yeah.
so
Well,
yeah, so Bella then gives Kevin. Kevin calls Maria. So we find out Maria is Harry's cleaner, not his cleaner, because Harry's a cleaner,
mhm.
but not that type of
Imagine
cleaner.
imagine a cleaner had a cleaner. It's sort of like when you hear about a therapist. I remember Sopranos. Remember if you ever watched Sopranos, the Tony's therapist had a
Yes.
therapist and would go to that therapist. So we would see one session and then another session about I mean, she couldn't really talk about a lot of stuff, but that would be funny though if Harry had his own cleaner.
Well, that's what I
No,
thought at first. I'm like,
oh my lord, I can't believe it. That's it. That's who Cat is.
what?
That's it. She's his cleaner because he calls. Remember, it's like I have a
Well,
favor. He needed something, and she does it.
she's not really the cleaner. He would be her cleaner also.
They're cleaning each other.
Because she's way above. She's way above everyone that we'll see at the end of this episode.
Yeah, yeah. Oh well. Well, at least now we one answered. If you have a checklist of questions that we've had for the past, yeah, this is it. Check this one off. Maria, house cleaner for Harry's family. Yeah, there we go.
Now it's really weird because Bella gives Kevin the phone number and then she watches because it seems like she's now wondering, like, is he cheating on me? Which is kind of weird because she's totally trying to cheat on him.
Yeah, exactly. Right? She's always trying to cheat. She's always like, anytime she's alone with Harry, it's like,
yeah, but he's just trying to get information about this guard.
mhm.
That's all that he wants, which I think is kind of weird. It's like, wait a minute, your brother and sister are kidnapped. Your best friend is out trying to save them, and you're like, you know what? I need to get revenge on this guy. Like, you guys were at war.
It's stressing him out. It's one of those things. It's stressing him out, and he can't let it go. And I can understand that. But then you know what? That must trigger something for Bella because then she says, you know what? I got a loose end to clean up too. Let me call up Antoine. It's like, hey Antoine, how about that deal that we were working on? No, it's over. You sent your muscle. Your muscle came whoop my ass. I'm sorry. It's no deal. And she's like, all right. He wants a 50% reduction in like the price of the fee or whatever he's being charged. She says no. She said then makes a counter offer of 20% and then hangs up and be like, all right, that's it.
Yeah, well, I'll call you
Does he
tomorrow.
accept? Yeah, exactly. We don't know. What if he
said
like,
he didn't accept anything?
Exactly. It would have been fun if they just switched back to him, and he says, "All right, 45." Hello, hello. Like I thought we were haggling here.
Or we see him call Richie up and be like, "What is up with these Conrads? Like, we don't even agree to it." And they're like, "Okay," like they just assume we agree.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's like they want everything their way. That's it.
But we do see Kevin. You know, he calls Maria, and then we see another flashback. So we're starting to get, now these things are starting to come back to him. They're not just repressed memories anymore. They're coming back, and clearly he wants revenge. And I guess you can't really blame him, could you?
Which is interesting, though, because one of the things that she provides information is the name of the old home. But I think he knew that. Harry knows that. Harry could have, I'm sure, could have just told him that. He didn't need to call Maria for that. It's like, hey, where's this old home? Oh, it's Jimmy's old folk up on the hill. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go over there. But
I think it's
I get it.
I think this is setting up a subplot to where, as again, if what I'm saying, what my prediction is right, where he's going to take over after Conrad is wiped out, and same with Maeve. That's like his first order to get rid of this guy. And then you kind of see how brutal this guy can be. Because Kevin doesn't come off like that. But we also saw that in The Godfather. That, he wasn't like that either until his brother was murdered. Then it starts building. So.
Yeah, but and this was the part that's eventually with the property, leaving the property. Jan, she left. We get it. She goes and she leaves.
She opens the gate like. And I had the same question, like, did she drive there or what? Because
she called an Uber to pick her up at the compound. I was like, oh, what are you doing out here? She probably spilled the beans to him too, because she's loose-lipped and she tells everybody everything. And it's like, oh, I'm here at the Harrigan's compound. Did you know about the war we started with the Stevensons? If not, how long is the ride? 20 minutes? Let me fill you in.
But she doesn't know because if you remember, she said, "I don't want to know about your business." She just knows some real bad shit is happening.
But he spilled it. He spilled it anyway. Remember Tommy's dead.
Well, yeah, I
and all
guess.
that
Yeah, I
stuff?
guess that is
He
true.
spilled it. He had to tell her
I forgot about
once
that.
they left the boat. Yeah, once they left the boat because she was scared of drowning and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Remember that and cats. The two things she hates: water and cats. And now she's stuck on a houseboat full of cats. Kids.
So we definitely know she didn't swim there like Reacher.
No.
Maybe she swam on Reacher's back. Maybe he came by and she rode him over there like a dolphin.
You know what? We're giving ideas to the producers. They're going to do a crossover. If they can work out to do it Amazon, and we'll have to crossover.
But the only way you can cross over is by riding Reacher through the water like a dolphin.
Oh, that's it. I have my cousin to draw. I'm going to see if he could draw that. I was like, can you draw this nice picture?
That could be one of our first shirts.
Right, that's it. He's doing like a butterfly. And Jan's on the back.
Jan riding Reacher like a dolphin in the water. Come on, that'd be a great shirt.
That would be. There we go. If you know, you know. That's what it'll say. It's an inside joke for people that watch both shows.
But this is this is where we see the security guard call Paul, and Paul tells the guy to go follow her.
Mm-hmm.
Which doesn't make any sense because Paul's the one that shows up, right?
Well, this happened before in a reverse way because they told Paul to follow her, and then Conrad shows up. Remember at the house?
Yeah.
So it's like there's flipping the script on here. So now it's like, the other guy doesn't go in. Yeah, or maybe they didn't want to pay for that extra to get camera time because we didn't see him. It was just voice.
That's true.
So
then we get Eddie and Gina talking again. I just so uncomfortable with these two talking. But Jan leaves to meet Alice, and this is the continuity. She just is there. She walks into this pub, which I'm assuming is in town, which I'm assuming is further than a brisk walk, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not that many people on this compound. Someone's going to notice Jan's not there.
Mm-hmm. See, now that's the big issue. Again, we know someone's gonna be like, "Why does this bother you guys? Why?" It bothers for a few reasons. One, the distance. Two, the fact that she can just leave like that and not tell anybody, especially with the way Conrad wants to know everyone's business.
Yes,
she has to know that someone is following her. She has to know. I mean, your family, your family, your extended, whatever you want to call it, because it's still her husband's employer's family is at war, and their life is in danger, which is why they were sent there in the first place for protection. And you were going to leave by yourself to go meet up with someone that you don't really know.
You know, for a couple weeks.
Yeah, exactly. I would have just said, you know what? Let's just keep talking. Because remember, the whole reason is that she gave this whole sad story. Oh, I have to talk to you. Something horrible happened. I had this. I'm like, you know what? And she was asking, where are you? What does it matter where I'm at? We're talking on the phone. I could do FaceTime. We could do FaceTime. I don't need to go and meet up with you somewhere. Yeah. But she does it anyway. I get it. They push her for the story.
And Alice gives a sob story about her boyfriend, and he was getting these messages, and then when he went to the bathroom or whatever, listening to him pee. I'm glad she had to get really into the details. She unlocks his phone and sees that he's been lying
with 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Right. And that's always how it is.
Same as Spaceballs. 1 2
3. You'll never guess the next one. You'll never guess.
What kind of idiot uses that as your password? She's just laying on the sob story. Now she starts laying it on pretty thick when she starts asking questions about Harry. Oh, I'd love to meet Harry. Is he a bad boy? And you can tell Jan starts to wonder why she's asking these questions. At least that was the impression
I wanted to get that impression because that's the common sense right there, that you would think that you would be like, oh, wait a minute, you're asking too many questions about my personal life. No, this is about you. I'm here for you, not the other way around. I got my own issues. There's a reason why I had to stop seeing my therapist. I can't talk about these things. But no, she doesn't. She spews.
Is Harry a bad boy? Like, but then she follows up with like good ones where, like, saying, Yeah, I guess I've always been attracted to bad boys. So, we're seeing this as they're going back and forth, um, which is pretty good. But I do feel like Jan was starting to catch on, but Jan's not the
No,
brightest.
that's what I thought until she even said it. It was like, oh, when Alice asked, oh, is Harry over at the house over there? Oh no, he's in Antwerp. It's like, no, he's doing some other stuff. No, and she even said where she's at. She's at the Harrigans.
Please
So
tell me I was again. If you're watching this, please when she tells her that Harry's not there, that he went to Antwerp, you also didn't do the whole Naked Gun face palm. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, no.
Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing?
We need video clips for that.
Oh man.
But then we see Harry chasing the guys down.
Oh yes. This is one of the main action scenes right here. With this is interesting.
Well,
This whole
get
part.
an
Now that I think
action
about
yet.
yeah, it's only action because he shows up. He's on the bike. He shows up to, I guess it looks like a cafe or something. Some guys hanging out. Now, remember, he did say, because at first I'm thinking, and I wrote them like, how does he know where they are? Because he knows it's Moroccans. But remember,
Yeah.
he did say he knows the gang tattoo, so I guess he knows where they hang out.
Yep.
And he goes over there and he starts like, who's your boss? Where's that? He starts showing pictures. And what was it? He said something offensive. He's like, you all look like criminals or something like that.
Yeah.
You all look like criminals to me. And the guy stands up and then he takes his gun out and says, do you want a hole in your sweater? It's like, that's the least of my worries. If you're pointing a gun at me, a hole in my sweater. Shoot. Oh boy, it's just some of his one-liners that come out. He says it so fast, and when your brain processes, you're like, oh, that's kind of funny. It's like, but yeah, I'll put a hole in your sweater. Do you want one? But then while he's trying to interrogate, he gets to that point. One of the guys runs off, gets on a bike, and we got ourselves a motorcycle chase.
Yes, and we end up in this big. Is this the big shooting spree?
No, this is just the chasing. This is the chasing.
Yeah, he does a chase, and then we end up. Oops. Then we're gonna end up.
Because he brings a guy off the side. He takes a nasty spill. Then he goes running on foot. And then Harry races and speeds in front of him, points the gun. Pretty much goes through the whole drill because he wants to know where are the kids, the Harrigans. Yep. What's going on? Where's your boss? That's pretty much it.
And so he does spill it. And then we see the guy basically bleeding out.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing we see is Harry here, and he just goes in guns a-blazing.
Oh man!
So we kind of got, but in a better way than the end of 19. And sorry for spoiler, 1923, where the guy goes in just shooting everyone.
Now the thing with the 1923, he came from behind though. That's the one advantage I can give him. It's it was in cover of night, it's dark, but they weren't expecting anyone to show up from behind.
But in 1923, the same person that was expecting someone to come in and save him is that same person. That's Maeve.
Yeah, Maeve.
She's like all waiting for her, except she wants Brendan to come back.
We could do a crossover there. Because there you go. They could do like some kind of a previous or maybe like a Back to the Future, different timeline. Let's do a multiverse. There we go. The multiverse. Maeve, what if she didn't leave England? Well, this is what happened to her.
But we get a lot of action here. He switches over to this AK-47, which he doesn't seem to run out of bullets very often.
And he's a great shot. The man is a great shot.
Now, he starts throwing grenades.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the question, isn't he worried that one of the kids aren't in there? Or both of them?
That would have been great. It's like if you just hear, Serafina, no! Like Brendan screaming, like also. And he's like, oh no, what did I do? But hey, where did he get the grenades? That's the other question. Yes, we saw the bag back in the car, but he's on a motorcycle now.
No, he had the bag because remember he went on the helicopter, so he had all the grenades from.
I just didn't
from when they were put in Richie's place.
All right, so he put him on his person, and because I didn't see
Yeah.
that on the bike. Remember when he grabbed the guy and threw him off? I just saw him get on the bike to take off. I didn't
Yeah,
know that
I'm
he
pretty
was
sure he
still
had it the whole time.
intact.
So
All right. Well, either way, if not, we'll just say he picked them up like in the video game. You know, it's
yeah,
like, oh, some grenade laying around.
but he does pick up the AK from I believe one of the guys he kills.
Yeah.
So he just
Yeah,
goes
that he
through,
does.
starts throwing some grenades, and then of course by the time he gets to the end, the one guy that is still alive, just barely, he knows everything.
Yeah. No.
All
Yep.
right, now we're
He
nitpicking.
spilled the beans. Yeah, that's a nitpick. But you know what? I'm sure at this point they all know because I'm
Yeah.
assuming that these people were the team that did the raid. These are the Moroccans that did that raid. So they probably already know because they also dealt with the transport.
But you could
And
also
then,
tell like the suit the guy was wearing, but he shows them like where are Serafina and Brendan Harrigan,
mhm.
and of course the guy's gonna spill the beans. So
Yep. All right, let me see what we get a quick scene with Conrad and Maeve. All right.
yeah, so and this is where once again Conrad is like, it is not Harry. All right, and Maeve is
He still
fully
doesn't
trying to
trust
set up
him.
Harry. Yeah, Maeve is still trying to set him up. Conrad says it's not Harry. And we'll get into more with Maeve.
Yeah. So she
Maeve
starts
lied.
talking.
Oh, no, go on.
No, because I'm also looking at my notes, and this is also when this is not the Richie moment. This is not the Richie moment,
Well, we're about
or
to
is
get
it?
to it, I think.
Oh, we're getting there. Okay.
Yeah, it's right there. It's all during this section with Maeve.
Mhm. All right. So then, yeah, let's bring
I hate
out
Maeve
because that
so
was
much now.
this was the turning point. We were like, all right, this is definitely gonna happen because then she starts getting all emotional, and then she says, "I know something. So I'm gonna have to tell you. You know, I know who has the kids." I was like, "Oh, who
Yeah.
has it? It's Richie. How do you know this?" He texts me, and Conrad gets upset. He throws something, rah, 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 rah. And what we kept saying was like, "That's to see the text."
He even asked when, and she said, "Why does it matter?" What do you mean? Why does it matter?
It all matters.
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
didn't you tell? Like again, like why are you not like telling me all this stuff? And we said, we said, well, why wouldn't you ask to see it? And he does. And this is where Maeve starts, she gets on her knees, and I said, she's gonna
Oh,
pleasure him. And
She's
let's be honest,
gonna
as
try
a
to
man, we
distract
all
him in
forget
some way.
anything. Like, what were we talking about again? Oh, never mind.
Exactly. We figured she was going to try some form of distraction because she kept saying, "Don't you trust me?
Yeah.
Don't you trust?" It's like, what with this? If you don't trust me, then who do you? He's like, just show me the phone. Like, why don't? Like,
Yep.
right there, is like, that just makes no sense. But it was perfect timing because then Kevin walks in.
But
And
even before that, she says, if you ask, I will show you, but there'll be no more trust between us. Which to me, that's the red flag right there. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
This is your kid. Even if you don't see Serafina as it, Brendan is your kid. You've withheld information. What was your purpose of it?
You know what? She could have played this different. She could have just said she called him to threaten him. Like, you better have not hurt my kids and this and that. And if Connor's like, why did you do that? Like, because I have a feeling he's involved in it as payback. There you go. Case closed. That's a valid reason. But no.
Are we the only people that think they were involved in it?
Right? I guess. I don't know.
But then you're right.
I think.
Go on. Sorry.
No, I was just to say because they definitely, like you said, it's like we know this. I mean, you would think he just Conrad just had the kid get murdered, found out about that. The wife just got murdered, which he took full credit for, telling everyone. And you don't think that there's going to be retaliation?
Exactly.
We do. That's why everyone is at your house because of this.
And like I said, then Kevin walks in and says Harry found them. They're in Amsterdam. Now, again, if what I said she would have done, which would make all those guys forget anything, this could have been a whole different episode where Kevin walks in. Oh my God, he calls Harry. He's like, oh my God, I saw this. Forget it.
Oh, what's going on here? Really too soon to
And
do this?
20 years, he's gonna have like new flashbacks.
Right. It's like,
when he walked in on his parents.
Oh boy. First him, then Richie, then Paul too. What's going on? It's like,
But
But
this is what.
one thing we do real
Oh,
quick, because there's a key part here, because we had asked, how did the Moroccans get involved in this? Well, this is how. Richie called the Mexicans. The Mexicans couldn't make it, but they have connects with the Moroccans. And they sent the Moroccans to go get the kids to bring them to Amsterdam to the cartel, which is run by Jaime Lopez. That was all in that call. That was really like a lot happened. Richie was busy. He's got some connects, and his Mexican kind of friends have some connects, and they were able to pull this heist off for these kids.
Richie seems more powerful than the Conrads. And I think that's why Conrads want the war. Because they've insulted people. They've made enemies where Richie is clearly the one that has made connections.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But this is what we have.
It looks like, real quick, it looks like you're right. Harrigan's, we don't see them mingling with any other groups.
No, they just killed off the two groups they were working with at the beginning.
That's it, exactly. In the first episode. Yeah. That's it.
And we'll see what Harry does at the end. But this is where Kevin and Conrad get into it. And this is where you're really seeing dissensions in the ranks.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is huge dissensions in the ranks, because Kevin realizes everything that Conrad has done is absolutely it's ill-advised. He's not thinking. He hasn't been thinking since they wanted to get in the fentanyl.
Yeah.
And them killing Archie him killing Archie, because it wasn't them. When clearly, more than ever, I believe Archie had nothing to do with this. This was all Maeve.
Yeah, it's all Maeve. And remember, that's another thing. That Kevin, he always suspects, even before the last episode, he suspects his mom is behind all of this.
Yes.
He thinks everything with the hit on, Braun and all that stuff. He feels it's all her doing, and Dad's just going along with it.
And he's right.
He is right. He
only
is
you could watch
right.
the episodes like we are.
Yeah, go ahead. The Serafina and Brandon tied to a chair in a warehouse or some kind of location with cool lighting.
But we haven't got there yet, because we have Alice.
What?
Alice and Jen.
Did I skip that part?
Yeah, because we
haven't. Oh, yes, I did. I did. You're right.
Alice is setting Jen up. She's asking her all these questions. We see her go into the bathroom. And I think going into the bathroom, again, this could be a total filler, but this is one of those things where you see Alice, like, she's saying what a good friend she is or whatever, and she goes into the bathroom, and this is her just like, I'm doing this, and I'm starting to have a connection with this person. But then when she goes back out,
she starts asking again with the questions and talking about that's where the bad boy and all that stuff comes in, and then Paul shows up. And you know what?
Before Paul shows up, we get Eddie and Gina.
Oh my Lord!
And he starts going into this. I'm just sensitive, and she pretty much says, hey, maybe I'd fall for that. Then they get into it, and I don't even want to think. I don't want to think about what they did, because I hate Eddie so much.
They just hugged.
Gina seemed like a really
cried.
Yeah, Gina seemed like a really sweet girl till now. But then we get Paul showing up, and I kind of like Paul. Like, Paul has this very assertiveness to him, and he basically tells Jen we're leaving, because he hears them talking about, what does he keep saying?
Bad boys and crime and stuff, and
which really had nothing to do with.
No.
But like, if you just walked up, they might have thought like she was telling them what their business is.
Yeah, what they were doing. Yeah.
And he basically says, Jan, we're leaving. But then tells Alice to go back to London. And he says, I want to hear you say it. So clearly he knows who Alice is. Because how would he know that she's in London?
Well, they're from
London.
Go
back to London.
So maybe it's because later on in the car, he said, like, how do you know her? How long have you known her? She took this long drive all the way out here.
So that was on the way back.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, I have a feeling that he knows that they're friends from London, because remember that he saw them hanging out before. Remember, he was following them. Yeah, because he was the one that texted Conrad saying they're she's hanging out with this girl getting coffee, and
But we
then
also saw Harry have all this information on people that you're like, how would you know this stuff? But who knows? I mean, that may be a subplot that we don't even really see, right?
Yeah, and I think this is where after that's when we get that quick. It was a really quick scene with the Serafina and Brendan,
Brendan.
and they're tied to a chair. He's crying, wants to talk to her. She doesn't want to talk.
She yells at him to shut up.
Yeah,
and then he basically tells her everything that you know, and he says, "Did you get a good look?" And he tells her everything that happened. And did you see a look? And she says, "No, everything you said happened, other than the pissing and shitting myself."
yeah. I was, because he was just going off on it. He blames himself for everything. You know? And I mean, this was a little further up, but yeah, he blames himself. It's like, oh, this and that, and she puts it 2 and 2 together. She's like, no. This was the Stevensons, because these people came in, they shot up both sides. It wasn't a double cross. They shot up everybody that was there except us. And why not us? Well,
because they need them for something.
Yeah.
So then we get someone that comes in with a tablet and the chainsaw. And then we see a guy on the phone. And that is Jamie Lopez or Jaime Lopez or the guy from Blow.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
You're like,
when was the last time you saw that? Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in years.
It's probably been over a decade, but I really liked Blow as a straight edge guy. Kind of seemed odd. I thought it was one of Johnny Depp's.
You should be watching those movies, man. You should be watching these drug movies.
But he has a very distinct voice, and he again in the movie Blow. Spoiler alert. He's Johnny Depp's like best friend, but he's the one who turns on him and becomes this big drug lord. He's also in Bad Boys 2. That's the other way that I remembered him. But I heard the voice, and obviously he looks older because Blow is
over 20 years.
Old.
Over 20 years old. Yeah.
But a really good movie. So, and based on a true story. I'm sorry, you give me based on a true story, whether it be a document. Or a documentary.
We'll talk about that, because I used to be the same way until I started doing research on some of these based on true story, and some of them are very loosely based.
Oh yeah,
and I didn't know they can get away with that. I'm like, oh, so you could just sprinkle a little facts and then just say based on a true story.
Yep.
Oh boy,
but I don't care. Like you gave me the Aaron Hernandez TV show. It was amazing. That guy, everyone's always going to think that he's Aaron Hernandez, even though he is an actor. The same way with the guy that played Superman, and everyone thinks that he's the guy that murdered his wife and unborn child.
Oh boy,
tangent guys, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The Peterson.
Peterson. Oh yes. With the bird, the wife attacking. They said the bird attacked the wife. She fell down the stairs.
Yeah, I think, but
that was one of the theories.
But he played Superman, and he talked about it. He's like, people come up to me thinking that I'm actually him, and it's like, I was the actor. I was the actor. Right? I played Superman.
It's just the way. It's like that. Whatever. It brings back memories of the Blair Witch. Did you see Blair Witch, the first one? I saw that in theaters.
I saw it in theater.
Yeah, and did people cry in your theater? Because people were crying in my theater, and I'm like, why are they crying?
I don't remember people crying.
They thought it was real.
They thought it was real.
Even at the end, it shows credits, and people still thought. I heard them walking out, and one guy, I remember clearly because he was right in front of me with his girlfriend. She was like, "I can't believe this happened." He's like, "This can't be real." They said names. No, those are the people that put together the footage. This is real, because remember they did post posters up in that community that even the locals thought that these were missing kids, that this was real. But we're drifting. We're drifting.
Very annoying movie if you watch it now. But to think about 3 kids made this and made millions of dollars off it. I don't think they ever did anything.
Other people behind it, but it was.
But for the most part, they were the ones filming everything.
Yeah, they were the only one. Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah.
We're almost to the end anyway. So we get the guy who comes in with the tablet, and Sarah's trying to negotiate. she is the smart one. She's clearly
Give
the
me
smart
30 seconds. I love that. Give me 30. I'm going to try that every time I meet somebody. Anyone's like, hey, give me 30 seconds to tell you why I don't want to talk to you. I will tell you 30 seconds
one.
where I need to leave right now. Before you start yapping about your life and your day, give me 30 seconds to
Give me
just
30
end it right now.
But Hami tells him about their dad, that he's a madman, he's old. This goes all the way back
Oh,
to
man.
where Conrad had insulted his dad, and we knew this was going to come back up. It had been brought up because they said Archie is the only one. Thanks, Mom, for putting that one in there. Archie's dead now because of you. Dad killed him. He was the only one that could talk to this guy.
30 years ago in Vegas, Conrad said some racial slurs to
At
Jaime's dad.
Was it Lennox Lewis fight? I think
During at a Lennox Lewis fight, and it was so like he was like, well, that his dad till his dying breath and his days, he still didn't get over that. Really, 30 years. This one dude from the UK said something, and it sticks with you this long.
People can hold grudges.
Then, if that's the case, come on, like, he's a cartel boss. He could have made something happen.
Yeah,
But it was kind of funny that's why he said he won't make a deal because of the father, his father.
But then we get Hammy, whatever, calls Richie. Richie calls the Conrads. They're all watching on their phone, like the YouTube video.
That's it, live stream. Mention it. Instead, he thought he did a private FaceTime, and it's like, no, you just went live on YouTube. What? Or Facebook? More like Facebook, right? That's
Facebook Live. Oh, we hit the wrong thing.
Read the wrong thing. Hold on, what's going on? You see comments popping up. What's happening?
Little hearts when the chainsaw's going.
Right, a bunch of googly eyes. Like,
If any of you have made it this long, you're going, what is wrong with these guys? Some people with the shocked face because it's all live. YouTube or Facebook Live.
Somebody give it thumbs up.
Thumbs up. The little hearts, like, I don't like him either.
Exactly. Like that. I owe that guy money. To make this happen.
We don't really know how close Harry's gotten, right? But
no, it seems like he's outside when they finally get to call him.
Well, he said it's it is armed. Like he can't just get in there. Yeah. But they're about to kill the two of them. The chainsaw's going. The family's watching. Kevin walks out. Kevin calls Harry. It seems like this is a lot of time.
A lot of fast cuts. Maeve and them are screaming because they're like, don't you do this. And he was like, what did they say? Richie said, like, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And I was waiting for a guy to run out and just like pluck a tooth out. There you go. We made the deal.
Yeah. And we have Richie just sitting here watching. And yeah, he says an eye for an eye. And a tooth for a tooth. He says both, right? But as soon as Kevin calls Harry, then we see Harry call Kat, and that guy that's been trying to get a hold of him says, "Get your, get your boss." And he's like, "Oh, now you want to talk?" He's like, "Get your boss now." And then we're kind of seeing it's very like no one's in a hurry. Which why would they be in a hurry? Because it doesn't really matter.
Well, it's for the theatrics also because they know that Conrad and them are watching, so I'm sure they want to make it nice and slow and painful. Because I'm assuming, again, people, you guys watched it, and you can leave in the comments. We think he's dead. We don't think the chainsaw.
Okay,
go ahead.
So yeah, we see the chainsaw hit Brendan. Well, we don't see it. We see the blood splatter on Serafina. We see his hand shaking. We see blood drip. I mean, there's an awful lot of blood. He's not screaming anymore. We're kind of assuming that they had killed Brendan. And while this is happening, Harry is talking to Kat. She says, this is a big deal, isn't it? Yep. Basically, he owes her. Mm-hmm. She makes the call. Hami gets it. And then Hami's like, Hami, whatever it is, he calls it off. but it's
Well, he
too
says
late.
you're too late. Yeah, he says you're too late.
Yeah.
But he definitely stops. So that tells me right there, one is dead. You know,
Well, I mean, I guess if you hit anyone with a chainsaw, you're a little too late.
yeah. Oh, man, it doesn't matter what part. Well,
But
I don't think. Yeah.
I will say this: Maeve and Conrad seem a little beside themselves. So yeah, I don't know why they're still watching it. That's like, I'm like, why are you still watching this? Like, why wouldn't you at least like turn your, I don't think I'd want to watch that.
I think they showed Maeve. Her head was down. I think she was really crying this time.
Yeah.
But
But
we said this in the last one. This made more sense for him if he wanted to hurt Maeve, because she made it clear that she prefers Brendan
yes,
over
very.
Serafina. There you go.
And we don't know who Kat is yet. I mean, we've seen her. She's on a private jet, and not like a little prop plane. She's on a private jet.
Yeah, she's got some money.
Yes, and who is she? That's the biggest question, because she's able to call this guy and get it called off, even though he's already been hired by the Stevensons to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much power.
Has everybody on speed dial. Yeah, she has all these gang lords on speed dial. The fact that she could call him directly, okay, she didn't have to call the middle person. She didn't have to even call Richie to tell Richie, hey, tell your hired gun over here to calm down with he knows him.
She has the bad guy Rolodex. She's like, okay,
there we go. See, then that's why I go full circle. And it's like, she is Harry's cleaner. When Harry gets too deep and he needs, that one get out of free, or he needs to make that, was it phone a friend? Remember Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And it was like, you call somebody that should have the answer. This is who Harry
that would be the cleaner. I mean, that's the person that is above him.
Well, she had the answer. She was able to pull this string. I mean, out of all the people, it's like, did he even? Whoa, wait a minute. Well, no. Okay, he knew the cartel. I'm just wondering if he knew Jaime's name. But I'm assuming if he knew the cartel, then he knows who's in control of the cartel. And
I believe I thought it was brought up before.
Yeah, maybe it was. Leave in the comments if you thought it was brought up before.
But what we have is Serafina it lives. We're all assuming Brendan is dead. Now, maybe Brendan isn't dead yet. Maybe they've just chopped off an arm. I think Brendan is gone. I think he's gone to the afterlife.
Yeah, I mean, I swear, if they show him alive and he's just getting stitched up on his thigh or something like that, I'm like, womp womp.
Well, there was a lot of blood on Serafina and dripping down his. Again, it was also dripping down the opposite hand that they showed where the chainsaw was at.
Yeah.
Because they do start on the right side, but his left hand is the one that we see it all dripping down. So that is where the episode ends. It was an intense episode. One that, I mean, this is a 5.
Good. This is a talking point episode. This is one of the ones that if you're telling your friends, co-workers, or whatever, it's like, and then I'm watching the show and it's like, hey, what happened in this? Well, the cartel got involved. There was a chainsaw. I was like, wait, what? What's going on? Yeah, the other one had to watch, and it was like blood. Then they put it on a live stream. Oh boy, there's a lot going on in this. It'll make you want to tune in. But yeah, if you like crime dramas, if you know anyone that likes crime dramas, this is a no-brainer. This is definitely a good show to watch.
And then what I liked about it is there was a lot of action, but there wasn't too much. This to me became a problem with what people wanted with The Walking Dead. They wanted hordes of zombies every single week to get wiped out. But that becomes boring. You want to actually see what is the makeup. Where's the the human
it's a
side
human
of
conflict.
people.
Yeah.
And that's what we're getting to. But this is bang, 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 bang. Because every scene is something that is important or at least leading to what we think is going to lead to something else, right? So
yeah. So real quick, we'll do the checklist. What's left? What's left that we don't know? We don't know. Go ahead.
Well, I want to talk about Tommy Higgins here and his comment. Okay. He says, "I reckon Brendan is doomed.
There you
Serafina will survive." I
There we
also
go.
think Kevin will align with Harry in some way, which Kevin is already aligned with Harry, I thought, right?
Yeah, yeah. They're besties. I'm pretty sure that's
Eddie
she's.
will eventually be taken out. I think we all agree with that. Conrad
Mm,
will likely
nope.
continue.
Oh, I think Eddie and Gina are gonna run away together. That's my thing because why did they show this? Why did they plant this seed? Why did they get together this way? He complained to we cut it off of that, but I mean he was rambling about how Phil's lost and no one cares whether it's again her pants or not. I have a feeling that we see that she likes those type of guys. She's into that type of,
Yeah,
but she's dealing with her own stress. Remember telling mom before, she's like, "Why did you stay with dad? Why are you staying in all this?" And maybe with all this chaos going on, she sees a way out. Like maybe she wants someone to run away with, and clearly Eddie doesn't care. He'll go anywhere.
I
I have a
I
feeling.
think I think Eddie's whacked at the end of this. I don't think he makes it
All
out.
right.
But hey, you
Yeah.
know what? We'll find out. He says Conrad will likely continue perving on Harry's daughter.
Oh boy.
Harry will retaliate, and I think that might be it. Just speculation. It's hard to know. I love it. I love the comments because, again, I think we were both because we're going to be working on another show, Murder Bot, and
Mhm.
that's what we were going to film today. But I was like, hey, do you want to do this, and we can maybe do Murder Bot the day we normally do this because Murder Bot doesn't come out for a couple weeks. And you were like, yeah, we need to find out if Brendan survives or not.
Yeah, yeah. There we go. And I'm glad. I'm glad that this happened. But then again, no one cares. This is one of those where you're like, oh, I hope he's the one that dies. Well, there you go. He is
He's
the one.
useless compared to Serafina. She
Yeah.
has staying power going into if there's a season 2 or 3 or 4. She's smart.
Mhm.
Brendan was an idiot.
Yeah, yeah. He wasn't offering anything up for this.
Now he's an armless idiot. At least an armless.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm telling you, planting that seed. Do you think he survived? You
No,
think
but
he would do that?
but you don't know. That's the whole thing. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
I mean,
But
there's
what
an
we do
awful lot
know.
of blood on Serafina. We'll just say that,
That is
which is
true.
kind of
That is true.
disgusting.
It was kind of
So,
gross. It could traumatize Serafina. This could mess someone up. But
well,
then
yeah,
again, she
do you
was there
think?
when Archie got shot. So maybe.
Again, I have never been in the presence of either, but I believe watching someone just get shot and not really seeing anything happen is way different than watching your brother, who's also perving on you himself,
Yeah, yeah. Wasn't her
um,
favorite brother.
get chopped up. You know,
Yeah.
so go down your checklist. You had a checklist to.
Oh yes, 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 the checklist. All right, so we could scratch the Maria off. We know housekeeper. What we
Yep.
do need to know still is Alice, cop or CI. Does it really matter at this point? But I think she's a cop, right?
She's more
How far
important than I
Kevin?
think than a CI. If
There
she's
we go.
not a cop, she's something where she was because she's not. Yeah, you're right. She's not just a CI. You're absolutely right
Yeah,
on that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Who killed Archie? I mean, not killed Archie. Sorry, who ratted about Archie's body and all that? We still don't really know. Remember, that's what led to all of this because they found Archie's body. And then they brought in Harry for interrogation. So we still don't know. There is a
That
rat
is,
somewhere.
yeah. I hope that doesn't get missed. I hope that doesn't get left out.
Yeah. So we don't know about that. What was it? There was one more key part that we still didn't know. Oh yeah, the father about Eddie. Eddie's story. Is Conrad his biological father? We definitely don't think it's Kevin. But hopefully we get more info. Yeah, hopefully we get more info with Conrad.
Poor Kevin.
Yep. And I think and what's the outcome now with Kevin and Bugsby, the bully guy over at the old home? Because now he just saw his brother. That's his older brother. His older brother just get
Yeah.
murdered. Does he even care? Does he put that on the back burner? That vendetta? I'm like, I know where that old guy is. He's at the old home. He's not going anywhere. Or does he take it out on him? And it's like, I can't get to the cartel, but I can get to this old dude. I don't know.
Well, we're
But
about to
we
find
will
out.
see.
We only have what?
We'll find out.
We have
3 more?
3. Oh,
Yeah.
we still got a good
8,
amount.
9,
To go.
10. This is 7. Yeah, 8, 9, 10.
Whew.
We're almost done. There we go. But hey,
And
thanks again,
Reacher was only 8, and one episode was such a filler that I was like,
there was a lot of filler.
Just make it 7.
Yeah, there was
This
a
I'm not like. Yeah, I would give this a 4.9 because you can always be better. I don't know how, but you don't want to have it at that 5 and be like, hey, I can't do any better.
yeah. I would put it up there. I put it like a 4.5. I'll put it in there. The only gripe I had was the holding with Jan. Like I get it with the detectives playing the long game and trying to
Yeah.
find more info, but come on now, you already know the Harrigans and the Stevensons are at war. Remember the car bombing and all this stuff. Why do you need to do all this with Jen? Why can't you just raid the Harrigans compound
You
and
gotta have
just
some sort of
interrogate
proof.
they're gang members. They clearly know who they are.
Yeah, but if you
or
have no proof on it.
I guess we'll see. But they know. Like remember the cops when they brought in Harry? They were like, we know who you work for.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. Well, we got 3 more episodes. We'll see if that even gets wrapped up on that. But hey, thanks again, everybody, for tuning in and following us over on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please like, subscribe. This is a new channel, but we're doing all these other things on this channel. We're making it grow, and it's fun. We're having a good old time. So keep doing what you're doing, everybody.
All right, take care. We'll see you guys next episode.
Yep. And let me see. I feel like I'm forgetting
Well,
something.
you see him over on The Last of Us.
Yeah. Still doing The Last of Us. Episode 4 is up now. You can check that out. And that's it, everybody. So we will talk to you next week. All right.
Take care.
Later.